Now it's recording. That's fine. Actually, yeah, because otherwise I'll get copyright infringement from Facebook.
Alexa, stop.
Right, first thing first. Are these her? No, that's coffee. Right, we want some treats. And what I'm going to get you to do, when I say now, I'm going to empty these out onto the side. When I say now, you're just going to throw a treat at her. Okay? So, little doggy, come back here. We know your hand's shy. Come here. See, you can see that she... Say good girl and give her a treat.
Good girl.
Miss
Good girl.
That's it. Because unfortunately, I know in an ideal world no one's going to, it's easier just to have no one touch her. But, that's it. But she needs to learn that biting things, let's see if she's found the treat, biting things doesn't make that thing go away. Like I said, if she bites a person, then naturally move the hand away.
Yeah.
And look, ready? It says, say good girl.
Good girl.
So because she does gravitate to you, she looks to you for that sort of guidance. What I want is when she learns, if somebody's going to touch her, right, then she's going to get a reward at the end of it. But I am purposely putting pressure on her because she's learned that using her mouth, see, look, see that leg go up?
Yeah.
That's it, say good girl, give her a treat.
Good girl.
Because the reality is, like you said, even though you tell people, because she's a cockapoo and she's cute, sometimes before you've even had a chance to tell people, they're like straight in there.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I have had that. Yeah.
If she does bite, as you know, so look, thinking about it, good girl.
Good girl.
Yeah. So we was doing this a couple of minutes ago and she attacked my stick. She's not attacking it as much now. See, she doesn't like that. But I don't move it away. Good girl. I don't want to move it away when she's flaring her lip or getting tense. I want her to do something different because often that's when people get bit. They start stroking the dog dog gets tense but you didn't realise.
No.
You move your hand away and then the dog lunges. That's what she did to your friend that was giving her a belly rub.
Yes.
Stroking her, didn't spot the signs that she's getting a little bit tense. So, just going to slow you down a bit. Come here. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? See, she's learning to tolerate this. Good girl.
Good girl.
So turn it into a game, people touching her. Yeah, and you can have friends do this because she's only going to bite the stick.
Right.
And she does,
okay, yeah.
So if she goes for the stick, look, that's fine. Because she'll bite the closest thing to her, which is the stick. See, she went to thought about it, but didn't that time. Good girl.
Good girl.
So the trick is, if you get tense, just relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get a reward at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, she's starting to guard her leg. Nope. See that? Because this is her lead. And like a typical cockapoo, resource guarding isn't out of the equation. So look, I've got her lead.
So what would happen now if you stroked with your hand?
She'll probably...
Right.
Well, we're getting her used to... There we go. Ah, no. And this is just a vibration we're using. Yeah. She responds really nicely to the vibrate. It interrupts her thought process. That's it, good girl. Look at me. You're a good girl. That'll finish her treat. Let's go for your lead, shall we? No. See how she chooses to move away? Yeah? If I touch her lead, looking at it. Good girl. See that? She made the... I haven't got the treats, you're giving them the treats.
Sorry, I'm not on the ball enough.
That's all right, no, don't worry. But I'm noticing when she hears good girl, she's now looking for a treat. So what's happening is we're changing her mind. Good girl, see that?
Good girl.
And if you notice, I'm purposely putting pressure on her because unfortunately, when people touch a dog, they don't know how to touch a dog appropriately. They don't read a dog's body language, and this is why they get bit.
Yeah.
Yeah? When the reality is, people, when they go to stroke a dog, just come out of nowhere and go, hello, how are you doing? Good girl. Yeah?
Well done.
This is just an extension of me. Yeah. So in the beginning when I got it out, I went towards her, she tried to bite this. Like, she knows this is a ball thrower.
Yeah.
But because I had it and reached out to touch her with it. Yeah.
Good girl.
So this is the magic stick to keep everyone safe. See that? Paw come up. She's getting uncomfortable with that because I started touching the legs. See that? Paw.
That was also what she does to when she's begging for things, though.
Okay.
Because we used to say to her, say please.
Tail.
No, she seems right.
Yeah.
Well done. Good girl.
So, I mean, if you have willing volunteers to come round that aren't scared of her and willing to give her another try,
Do you want me to get my friend round now?
you can do.
Can you stop this?
Yes, I do. Just in case anyone's watching. The other thing that's really good, have you ever used a clicker with her?
No.
No. So another thing you can do
Yeah.
is if somebody's stroking her, yeah, teach her what the clicker means. So with my Rottweiler, when she was 6 months old, she had a really bad experience at the vets. I wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
She got taken there, and because she's a Rottweiler, they wanted to muzzle her, and she's absolutely friendly. So of course she got scared because she never had a muzzle on at 6 months old. And apparently 3 of them pinned her down and she wet herself.
Oh.
Right, so after that she developed a fear of strangers.
Right.
Now she's absolutely fine with strangers because we've done a lot of counter conditioning. But one of the things I used to do is when I was over a park, if anybody said, can I say hello to her, I used to say yeah. And as soon as they stroked her, as soon as I started to seeing her, after she'd been there for a couple of seconds, I'd click the clicker and she'd come flying back to me for treats because she's very food motivated. So if someone's stroking her, what you can quickly do is click and she'll go, she'll leave them.
Right.
So she builds association. It's similar to what we was just doing now. So someone touches her, when I was happy with how she was responding, then you say good girl and give her a treat. But that click can have a resonating sound to her.
Right.
Which just lets her know treat's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And plus, then nobody actually knows what's going on. So the amount of people that stroke Daisy, I just went click and she come running back to me. They're like, oh, she's well behaved, isn't she? And now she's absolutely fine with people. What you've got to do is change her perception.
Yeah.
But because she bites, you can't actually touch her, first of all, for her to understand the name of the game. So you've got to put a bit of pressure on her. She's going to bite a little bit and things like that. So it's been a couple of minutes. Good girl. Give her a treat.
Good.
Yeah?
Well
See how
done.
she actually licked that this time instead of trying to bite it?
Good girl. She knows the treat's coming now, didn't she?
Yeah, but it means that she's not focusing on biting the person touching her.
Well,
She's not getting tense. Because she knows the treats are coming, it's changing her emotional response to things. So she's coming up in a more relaxed state. So she's not walking around the house growling under her breath like she was when I first come in the house. She's not looking at me suspiciously like she was when I first come in the house. Now, because she's receiving treats and now because she's understanding what's going on, what's happening is she's actually relaxing in her whole demeanour. So we come through, touch her mouth. Good girl. She's learning to lick it instead of bite it.
Good girl.
Hold that a second. Right, so we've been playing this stick game with her, right? So get ready to say good girl. So look, stick comes, she got a little bit excited, fine, stroking the bum. See how she's looking at you for the treat. So say good girl, give her the treat.
Good girl.
Yeah? Right, watch this. Why you never ever baby talk to other dogs. Oh, good you. Say good girl, who's a pretty princess? Pretty. See how she's getting tense and moving away. Oh, it's a good girl. Who's a good girl? Yeah, she hates that. But she didn't react that time,
Good.
so good girl.
Good
but we did
girl.
that 30 seconds ago and she started like lifting her lip up. When she hadn't done that since I first introduced the stick, because she's learning, if you go over and go, who's a good girl? Yeah, good girl. Mouth stays open and she just looks at you. Yeah, so if you stroke a dog normally, for the best part, they're fine. But if you've got a nervous dog, as soon as you start going, Oh, what's the matter? It's okay, don't worry. See, she looks so suspicious.
She looks uncomfortable.
Never, ever, 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 ever baby talk a nervous dog. Yeah? One, they're not a baby, so why do you have to talk to them like that? To be fair, I don't even baby talk my babies. Really, stop being an idiot. She's 5, I don't need to go, Lily. Yeah. Good girl.
Well done.
So this is going to be your greeting stick, yeah? So when people come in, and like I said, when you did it, right, so when I first introduced the stick...
Shall I stop this?
No, it's fine.
All right.
When I first introduced the stick, she tried to bite it, yeah? Because the same thing she does when her hand goes towards her. Then she stopped, then she got the hang of the game, see? How now I can stroke her on top of the head, on her body, and she's just looking for that treat, yeah? So it's changing her response, but as soon as I gave you the stick, and you went to do it, she bit the stick. Because again, she's associating this as an extension of your arm, yeah? So that's why it's another person touching me. This is why you need to pass the magic stick around. Yeah, and the beauty of it is she's going to bite the stick. Yeah. You don't have to get down to her level, put your face next to her, things like this. But she needs to learn to be touched because the reality is people do not listen. You can say, look, can you just ignore my dog? And a lot of people will, but when you're out in the street, you get people come over and go, oh, and before you've had a chance to go stop, they're already touching your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people think they're allowed to go around and touch every single dog they see. Like, you bought the dog for their own amusement. Yeah. When people ask to stroke my dog, sometimes I'll say yes, but if they're coming over with that, oh my God, it's a dog, I'm like, no, I didn't get a dog for you. I got the dogs for myself. Sometimes you've got to be rude. But sometimes, before you've had a chance to do anything, people are there. I remember one time walking my dogs, and out of nowhere, these kids run up behind me and hugged my dogs. And my dogs are fine with children, so they just licked them. But I did have to have a word with parents, say, look, how stupid is that? I said, if that was a dog that was nervous, you can turn around and bit the dog. Yeah, and that's what she does. If someone approaches her, particularly because she's cute, they have this tendency to want to talk to her in that baby voice. She's like, can you fuck off? Yeah? So you stop that there. Again for the camera.
So she's very calm now. She wasn't like this when my brother was here last night. She was pacing.
But she also wasn't like this when I first walked in.
No, she was pacing.
She was growling under her breath. She was laying down, but she was watching my every move. A little bit of positive punishment and positive reinforcement being combined, the punishment to decrease the chances of her biting and the positive reinforcement to teach her a new, better way of behaving. What you actually saw was the whole transition and her whole body and demeanour relaxed. And this is the result. A couple of minutes later, she just chooses to switch off. Yeah. But a universal golden rule, when she's like this, no one touches her. Yeah. If you want to start, if you want to start giving her a fuss, never give her a fuss when she comes to you. Start calling her over to you, and then test the waters with your magic stick.
Right. Okay.
And then go from there.
Diabetes and it died.
No. She's holding her paw up for a treat.
You got to come to the magic stick. She was coming to it a second ago. She knows you got the treats.
No.
That's it. So give her a treat quickly, just so she knows, right? Because she was coming to the stick. That's it. See how she's coming over to it. Whereas when we started the game, she was actually kept stepping on her lead to stop her going because I didn't want to sort of corner her and things like that. So, but now she's actively liking the stick.
Okay.
The reason I got the camera out again because I was banging it on my leg, not even thinking, just doing that, and she just come over to it, lick the stick, and then look for her treat.
That's my friend.
It is.
Yeah.
And then again, what happens is then you start with a smaller stick, so you have to lean in a little bit closer once she's comfortable with a bigger stick. Yeah. And so this is a big one. Then you go in with the smaller size of this. See how look, she's coming over to it. Yeah. So as she comes over to the smaller stick, and then you progress to like some motorbike gloves or safety gloves, and then you go in with a hand.
Yeah.
And if you've done enough reinforcement with this, then what happens is she just, as soon as she's touched, it's like, where's my treat, where's my treat, where's my treat? Yeah. And although what it's doing is effectively making her sort of somewhat beg and expect food, I would take that over a dog that is going to bite a person.
Yeah.
So I don't care if she's expecting food every time she's touched, because she's not biting people.
Yeah.
And of course, if she does try to bite it anytime you change it, and things like that, then obviously the vibration collar, stop it, enough. I don't feel like she likes being spoken to like a baby. But even things like that, she didn't like that. But you see how she's now looking at you like, all right, can I get a reward for this if I don't bark, grumble or growl? It's just changing her emotional response to things. Look how she's moving around, more relaxed. So what we're trying to teach her, this is what I mean. Sometimes behaviours are transferable with dogs as well. So sometimes they will start to transfer that into other areas. So, okay, if I'm uncomfortable here, what if I look at you? Does that activate a reward? And that reward triggers a feel-good response. So when you started doing that baby talk bit, she got quite tense and was staring at you. I call it the death stare.
Yeah, she was.
Right? And then, but instead of grumbling or barking like she normally would, or charging, what she does is she turned and looked at you.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I should just have the camera rolling constantly, because she just come over to me just then, right, and actually jumped up here and sniffed my hand. And she's looking at me with her tail wagging, but not a low tail or a stiff tail, just a happy-go-lucky tail, which is a massive difference. See how it's sort of waving side to side now, yeah? So, again, all this little thing we're doing, she's gone from being nervous to actually she's now sort of coming, right, let me come over to you. What can I get out of this? So it's actually, the more curious she is about people, the more relaxed she is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And look, see, look, she's doing this a lot more, just laying down, chilling out. That's all.